Hi, my name is Corinne Bloom, and I'm a life coach, mentor, and relationship expert. And I want to talk a little bit about women's coaching. I work with both men and women, but I definitely have a passion for working with women. And I think it's, well, firstly, because I can understand I'm navigating life as a woman. But I also think we are in really remarkable times. It's a really remarkable time in history to be a woman. And let me just say that my outlook on life is very, I believe in humanity and in humanism. So we talk a lot about feminism and how we're in a third wave of feminism, but really for me that means that we are connecting to humanity as a whole, and that's part of bringing in the divine feminine, you could say, that we've forgotten under 6,000 years of living under the patriarchy, and it extends beyond that. But humanism to me is really the integration of the feminine and the masculine within us, and it's really about building equality between men and women, because sadly we've been living in a world for thousands of years where that equality hasn't existed. So coming back to the topic, women's coaching for me is really fascinating because I think there's a tremendous amount of ancestral and generational trauma, you could say, pain, the story of being a woman in this world, and we're carrying that within ourselves, and we're still living in a society where we don't fully have equality. But we're seeing women rise and make their voices heard, and we're seeing sisterhood coming back. We've really been living in a time under the patriarchy where women have been competing against one another, and now we're seeing the movement towards sisterhood and community again. And what I think interests me the most is understanding how to regain our self-worth, how to reconnect to our self-worth, how to understand our value, how to not make ourselves small, how to have a voice and feel courageous in that, how to have boundaries, but not in a way that they're hard, and not in a way that we feel like we have to go out in the world and be a warrior. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but one of the things that I witnessed, kind of looking back at the feminist movement of the 60s and 70s, is that it produced a very masculine man, and that was really required for that time. It was really required, and women made huge advances with that kind of energy. What I'm interested in, and this is just my perspective, is how can I support women in being confident, in discovering their power, but still being feminine, still being a woman, and how to integrate and find balance between the feminine and masculine within us. Because what I've heard from so many women, especially when, not in these times, but when I was doing women's circles in London, I'm hoping to do women's circles online again, by the way, is that so many women were really suffering from being too much in the masculine. They felt like at work they had to really be in the masculine. They had to be essentially like men, and how exhausting that was, and how that was affecting their relationship, because relationships require polarity. They require the balance of the feminine and masculine within both individuals. And a lot of women were suffering from feeling like they'd lost touch with their femininity, with their sensuality, with their sexuality, with their playfulness, with their gentleness, their softness, their intuition. They were exhausted, feeling like they were constantly in this drive mode, this achieving mode, which is very masculine, and it's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's not gender-based. It's just that we've been very used to living in a very masculine-orientated, left-brain society for a long time. And so what is it to rediscover who we are as women, and how do we step out into the world as women? And because for me, if you look at it from a perspective of humanism and egalitarianism, each member of the tribe, so to speak, has value. each member of the tribe has something to offer, to give. And I think it's really also remembering that. It's like, what do you have? You don't need to fit into a puzzle where you fit in, but instead of fitting in, belonging is being who you are and knowing that you have value to give and to offer your local community, your family, society, the world at large. Who you are matters. And I think as women, we've been taught and told for so long to stay small and to be quiet and to be polite and cross our legs and look pretty. And, you know, the social pressures of being asked to always be perfect and young and beautiful and smart but not too smart and ambitious but not too ambitious. There's a lot of, you know, a woman could feel like, you know, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. So essentially my interest is to bring you back to yourself, as I speak about across my website, but really understanding that who you are as a woman has value. And you can come into the world as a woman, but you also don't need to fight to be a woman. And it also doesn't mean belittling men, you know, that we're all human. We're all dealing with this incredible journey that has its ups and downs of just being a human. And as women, we hold it. We hold it all. The feminine holds it all. So how can we hold ourselves as we feel a lot, as we move in cycles, which men don't quite to the same, you know, way or extent that women do? How do we honor our cycles within every month, within our life, the different phases, the different archetypes, the maiden, the mother, the enchantress, the wise woman? How do we incorporate all these parts of ourselves? So I could go on and on about this topic because I love it so much, but really my joy, my passion, my curiosity is to embody the women, the many, many women that we are within ourselves, the many aspects of a woman that we embody. And my passion or my role or my job here is to help you discover the woman in you or the many women in you and to start this conversation with yourself. So that's a not so short description of what women's coaching is. But if you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer them if you want to sign up for a free 20-minute phone consultation. And in the meantime, I wish you well on your journey.